Hello, everyone. Welcome back for the final hour of this 24-hour of Le Mans race. At the moment, we have the Toyota 7 in the lead, the Toyota 8 in second, and the BMW 20 in third. But that's gonna switch possibly as the 20 is closing down on the Toyota 8. And we have our team radio. And will we see some last lap drama for the Toyota 8 again? Buemi is not sure how he can make it to the end. And in LMP2, we have a battle for the lead going on. It's actually a battle for second. As Buemi is told, it's nearly impossible. And we just saw the 29 Forest Racing passing the 343 car for second. It's a 43 in first at the moment in LMP2. And P3, we have still comfortably in the lead, followed by the, where are you? The 78, and then it's the 23 Aston Martin. The 78 Lexus is in second. And those gaps are massive, so I don't think we'll see big changes in the GT3 anymore. So it's mostly wondering when the BMW is gonna pass the 8, which I'm pretty sure will happen. And then we will see if the 20 can close down this 16-second gap to Kamui Kobayashi in the Toyota 7. That's the biggest question mark we have. And in the LMP2, it's still quite exciting as well, as Nico Miller in the 343 is only 4 seconds behind the 43. So that's going to be a possibly tight battle as well. And here we have the BMW literally on the tail of Buemi in the 8. And Buemi is reporting issues, mostly brake issues. The Toyota 7 was lucky with that that they just got a warning for going off in the chicane while entering the pits. They only got a warning for that. Otherwise, it might have been like a stop and go penalty, maybe a 5-second penalty. Who knows? Don't think they will give a driver penalty for it, but it's all possible. As we have the BMW 20 on the tail of the Toyota 8 as they make their way to the Dunlop chicane. The gap is now 0.3 seconds. There is no... Sorry. Needs to find a good opportunity. Now the gap is 0.7. That means Buemi had a very good exit from Tetra Rouge. As the 8 also got a very short slipstream for one of the GT cars. So does the BMW, but it's not very big slipstream. I'm missing some sound. Like, obviously, I have to turn down my volume a bit in the night. Team radio.
So, from Christian, we can use any curve. We can use any curve that we used in FP. And yeah, just keep doing as you're doing. Do everything you can. Keep in mind.
Buemi is told that he can do whatever he kind of wants to keep friends behind in the 20. He can even use all the curb that they used in free practice. Just as long as he doesn't go over the track limits, because they have been relentless with track limits. So he needs to be careful with that. But these drivers obviously know better what they're doing. As we do get a warning flag for the 8-7 for track limits. There you go. That's the same that the Toyota 7 Nick de Vries got while entering the pit lane. Wonder where the BMW 20 is gonna try to pass Toyota. Maybe right now? They make their way. Well, now we see some farms. Still going through the Porsche curves. That's not a very good place to overtake. He probably either has to do it on the long straight or down at Mulsanne, maybe? 'Cause now the Toyota seems to be running away a little bit. The current gap is now 0.8. The Yeah, Sector 1 for Bremy has been better than France's. So Toyota is looking good in this first sector, this very curvy sector. She does have a lot of speed going into Tete Rouge and on the exit of Tete Rouge. So France need to find a different place, I think. Because now it's 1.0 the gap. It's literally 1 second. In the meantime, the gaps in the LMP2 cars also have widened a little bit. In the GT3s, it's those gaps are
From here on at 60 laps to go to the end. 60 laps to go to the end. Okay. You have 19 seconds lead.
as Kobayashi is told he has a 19-second lead and it's 16 laps to the end. And I wonder if he is going to the end completely. I would need to check how. I need my virtual energy tank, please. They do have to come in again, all of them. So we now have the Ferrari 83 in the pits. So the top 4 also all have to pit again for at least one more refueling. And I think they'll all just do like a splash and dash, come in, get some fuel, and just leave. And the Toyotas have been really, really quick with their pit stops, as the BMW is going around the outside, looking to go around the outside. That didn't work into Indianapolis. That would have been very optimistic, and he's not trying in the inside into Arnage. But I think that those are the places where the BMW needs to really try it. Now it's a little bit straight toward it is the Porsche curse, and you can't really pass there for it. Though he's still. And we have 45 minutes left in this 24-hour race. And I can tell you, it has been a race. And lots of drama happening. Especially the retirement of the Duquesne team. That was really, really heartbreaking. Just a brake that exploded on the long straight. The worst place where you want that to happen. and they just couldn't bring the car back to the pits. So that was the end of that in like just a second, and your whole race earlier this morning. Now it's just focusing and see what Rines can do in his BMW, because now here he loses a lot. In the first sector, he loses so much. And the 009 is being repaired and back out. As we have a very short yellow flag. Nothing to worry about. Ooh, the gap is now 1.4. As they find themselves passing the 3 DKR Engineering and the Team Qatar Bahrain links. Got the radio. France is being told he has 3 track limits left, and then he will get a possible penalty. And those penalties are not nice. Free practice, they gave 5-minute stop and go penalties for track limits. Like I said, they were relentless. Because 5 minutes is more than a full lap, at least for the hype cars. Because they drive around in 3 minutes. So you're 1 lap and a half behind if you get these track limits. In the meantime, the Toyota 7 is widening the gap. It's now 21 seconds. So they are comfortably ahead. Because obviously Buemi is fighting with the BMW, which gives the Toyota 7 an advantage. Because this is slowing the Toyota and the BMW down. And the 29 is in the pits in the P2s. Don't think we'll see that, because this battle for a second is more exciting. But that's why I'm here to tell you these random details that the 29 has pitted. Sadly, those guys do not have a virtual energy tank, so I'm not sure what kind of strategy they're on, but I'm guessing that the 43 and the 343 also have to come in.
So that is amazing. Your pace compared to the Cadillac, you are actually holding, if not growing, the gap. Great job.
Somehow, the BMW is also looking behind to the Cadillac 12, but they are 27 seconds behind, so I don't think they're a real threat. They should look forward instead, because the Toyota 7 is slowly widening the gap ahead. And the 29 has also, the 29 that was in the pits is now down in 4th. We're not seeing that pit stop at all. Here we do have the 12 Cadillac, but that 12 Cadillac is literally in no man's land. So the status of that exactly shows the BMW, because it's now 0.5 going towards the second chicane. This is where the BMW is quicker. but somehow it cannot find a way to get past. Buemi nicely closes the door, going a little bit earlier on the inside into Mulzarn. But I think it's Franz that looks just like he has a better exit out of Mulzarn. But they will find themselves in traffic again, and the BMW is going for it. He can't find a way through. It looked like they were side by side, but it was just impossible to get past. But Indianapolis is the place where he has to give it a try. But the gap is now 0.3 maybe towards the Porsche curves. He's coming down the inside, but now Bohemia's inside, but he's ahead. The BMW passes the 8 on the inside in the Porsche curves. That was a very good move indeed from Robin Franz. And now we will see if he can close the gap towards the Toyota 7. The gap is 24 seconds, which is a huge gap, but it's not impossible. This 20 car is a lot quicker than that Toyota 8. And here we see it again. It's the long side. And then this first corner is inside. And then he was already ahead going into the second Porsche curves. Now we have the Toyota 7 in our screen. It's just making its way through some traffic as well. But as long as he stays patient and not making mistakes with all the traffic, Kobayashi should safely bring this car home. And I think this 7, 20, and 8 are all gonna come in this lap, and that will likely be their final pit stop. Because they can drive around 50 minutes, and it's 45 minutes left in this race. So they should be completely fine. So we now have the Ferrari 21 versus the Lexus 87. This is a battle for fourth. I think the 87 had lost a lot during one of the safety car situations. And the 21 has slowly but surely fought its way all the way back to the top. I think I've mentioned it before that the 21 Ferrari started in second, went all the way down to like 16, maybe even a bit lower, and now it's back in fourth. So that's a very good job for the Ferrari 21. But as you can see, the gaps are massive. The 33 in the lead has like they don't show it anymore, has a 25-second gap toward the Lexus in second, and then it's over a minute 1 minute and 18 seconds for the Aston Martin 23 in third. And then the Ferrari 21 is even 16 seconds behind. And we do have the Toyota 7 in for its final last pit stop. And then I'm sure there's the BMW 20 and the Toyota 8 as well. For their final stops. So if Toyota don't do anything crazy here, they will leave the pits with still a very big advantage. The stops of the BMW haven't been great, and the stops of the Toyota 7 have been incredibly quick. The Cadillac 12 is now in the lead, but that Cadillac 12 has to come in like 2 laps or so. Toyota 7. The cameraman's being shoved away a little bit. Tire change for the Toyota 8, and the BMW 20 has just left the pits. So the BMW 20 is staying in second, and then the Toyota 8 is staying in third. And we will see where the Cadillac is going to end up after their final pit stop. And from now on, it's a 41-minute race towards the end. Still can't afford a single mistake. And going too wide over the track limits. And from here we will wait until the 20 is gonna come in. The 12 I mean. But Will Stevens has posted a quickest second sector so far, so he is on a mission still, but I'm not sure where a pit stop will put him. Probably behind the Toyota 8. But that would mean that a podium place is still in reach for the Cadillac 12. It's the Ferrari 51 and the 35 Alpine are in the pits. France has a 22-second gap to close towards Kobayashi in the Toyota 7, so that is a big task. Well, Stevens is continuing while some other cars are pitting. And the gaps in the LMP2s are staying. So I have some cars from there in the pits. And the gaps in the GT3s are nothing too crazy stuff happens. I think that we are about done as the 343 is pitting. I think this is Oscar. and it might lose its second place now to the 26. 26 Vector Sports. But I think all these cars also still need to pit. So I'm expecting uh, time soon. The 343 has rejoined the track in fourth and is 20 seconds behind the 29 in third. And that 29 has pitted was before the pass of the BMW on the 2-8, so I'm not sure if they're going to the end. Here we have that 26 car, the Vector Sport, currently driven by Fittipaldi. The gap towards Dillman in front is 1 minute and 16 seconds. And if they both have to pit still, it will sort of stay that way. There is Dillman, the 43 is in the pits. And we will see where he's gonna end up. And the 12 is in as well. So we'll also take a look at where that car is. Because it's Kobayashi that already is back in the lead. And France goes in second, and Will Stevens is gonna come out. In front or behind Buemi? Question that we have. It's currently behind Buemi. Buemi just passed it. But the gap towards Buemi is probably quite small. It's 8 seconds. That should be doable. So the battle for the final podium place here is definitely on. Did I say that correct? Yes, it's 8 seconds. And the 26? This is not the 26. I think this is the 29 that's in the pits. The 26 is also in the pits. So they did have to make a pit stop as well. The 26 and 29 are in. For their final pit stops. And then we have the 43 in the lead, followed by the 343. And it's the 29 that's in third. And the 26 that is in fourth. Because the car in fifth, that's the 37, CLX Motorsports, they are in 5th and they're also in the pits at the moment. So this is how things are standing, with no more pit stops to go and only battles on track to be fought till the end. So, and then we will also have a look at the standings currently. In 33 car is still in the lead there with the gap of 12 seconds now, but I think they're also pretty much done with their pit stops. Looked like to me. So we will keep an eye on that, because that's the only thing I'm not sure about if they have to pit still. The 23 just got passed by the 34. That is for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Actually, that was for 4th. So it's now. Where are you? It's one of the Corvettes. It's Lexus and it's a Corvette again, and then it's the Aston Martin 23. Here we see someone going wide. We haven't seen that all race. In the practice, they went off there so many times. That is the entry of Eau Rouge. Eau Rouge. Tetra Rouge. And here we see the Shopify 14 TDS Racing going off a little bit again. That was down in Mulsanne. And now we have the 36 Alpine in for their final pit stop. So we got the radio from Buemi. I'm not sure what he's talking about because that was very hard to understand, but only thing I got is he's not happy. But the gap towards Stevens is now 9 seconds, so that gap is expanding.
Consume slightly, second lap, you overconsume slightly. Now we've taken a bigger margin. Let's just focus on the driving. You can do it, mate. 80.1 behind.
Looks like he used a little bit too much fuel, but Spindle, he can do it. Can make this car go all the way to the end. The gap from Buemi to the BMW in second is 13.9. So I guess we still have to keep an eye on it. Of course we will keep an eye on it, but I was feeling that the Toyota had too many small issues, the Toyota 8, to really be able to close that gap. But never say never. And this race is still 28 minutes. And in those 28 minutes, a lot can happen. Just ask Toyota 8 themselves in 2016. Their worst nightmare. As the 101 Cadillac has come into the pits for their final stop. For now, the gaps are staying a little bit the same, so that's not. There's not much happening. And the 009 is in the pits. I hope that's just a regular pit stop. It looked like they had a flat tire or some um, suspension issue, maybe. But they repaired it and sent the car back out. So I'm really hoping for them that they can finish this race without any further issues. But then everyone has had issues. I think almost the whole hypercar field has had issues this race. Whether it was penalties, going off, some technical problems, and slow punctures again. But I don't want to curse it. Don't want to curse anything. Because we all know the commentator curse is pretty real. So that's like when one moment you say, oh, this car. Stevens is 1 second behind Quemi. They think they can close that gap. And I would say they probably can. There was also earlier the question, who would be your driver of the day? And honestly, I'm so confused why it's driver of the day, not team of the day, because it's a team effort, not a lone driver effort. But Kobayashi is definitely high in that top for me. Then I think the 30 car was actually doing really well. All the three drivers were doing well. That's Pin, Andlauer, and Verschoor. They were all good. So probably one of them might get my driver of the day as well. Then who else we got? Gatsburg in the 33. That 33 that is somehow leading with um, Johnny Edgar and Ben Keating. They all of them did a remarkable job getting that car in the lead somehow. Because I have no clue how that happened, except full course yellows and safety cars.
Take care of the car exit turns 22. Turns 22, take care.
Kobayashi is told to take care in turn 22. For track limits, you do not want to get a penalty for track limits at this stage. Then who else we have? Into Europol competition, both of them, the 43 and the 400, 343, they both did really well. But to pick one driver of this team is just very, very difficult. here we have, that is Ben Keating. Is he gonna come in for a final stint to do the finish? They only have a 14-second gap. I would be very, very surprised. Maybe he was just putting on his overall. As the time is slowly ticking down, and we have only 22 minutes remaining. As we go on board with the Toyota 7, and I kind of don't want to go on board with the Toyota 7 because I don't want anything to happen to anyone anymore at this stage. And I'm scared if we go on board with someone, something will happen. Like, no news is good news. So instead of just really focusing on the cars, we'll just focus on the ease the nerves a little bit. Because actually, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. That is pretty much done. Because the gaps are too big. So it's not even useful to focus on the gaps because they're just too big. Well, I feel like France is slowly closing in on Kobayashi, but the gap's now 15 seconds with 20 minutes remaining. The gap between Stevens and Buemi is staying the same, and the gap between Buemi and France is also about staying the same. So I'm not expecting many changes. So we go back on board with in the Toyota 7. Going over the long straight. Taking a little bit of slipstream from one of the Astons in front. The last time this Toyota 7 won was in 2021 with Conway as well, and Lopez. Lopez is now driving in one of the GT3 cars, if I'm correct. Pretty sure that's correct because I've seen his name down here in this 8.7 Lexus that is currently 1, 2, 3, fourth in the GT3s. So it somehow would be nice if they can get a podium, and honestly, they are not far off. They are 3.6 seconds behind the Aston in 23. The Aston 23 in third. That's how I should say it. So that looks doable. Then we literally have drivers from the 21 victory for the Toyota 7 on the podium, except they do not really share it with each other. But somehow that would be very nice. Ooh, Stevens is very, very slowly closing a tiny bit in. And so is Franks. But I think the Toyota 7 is just managing the car because you don't want to remind him about that 2016 race when it's leading Toyota 8 in the lead. Literally stopped on track in the final lap. That's definitely the biggest heartbreak that I've ever seen. Also thinking they should not put these bollards in the chicanes anymore, because there were probably like 4 or 5. Now there's 0 remaining. There's one in the gravel trap, and all the others are gone. So just to wait to not damage cars, they should probably just keep them removed to avoid yellows as well. Everyone's getting nervous. All the pit crews are getting nervous for these final 16.7 30 minutes. 16.30 minutes. Why am I saying 7? 37 is leading, that's why. Fair enough. So France need to like close it a second per lap, and I can tell you that I doubt he is doing just that. Exactly. He is. Ooh, no. Um. No, he is not. It's 0.39 per lap. That's not enough. He needs a second. And Buemi is also closing in on France, but that's not um, big enough either, because he is 20. He's half a seconds behind. So he also needs like about a second per lap, and he's not doing that either. The biggest question is the 87 Lexus closing in on the 23? He is, but not very quick. The gap is now 3.7. That's just a one small mistake and is enough to lose like your, as we are in the last 15 minutes of this race. State 7 is being passed by uh, one of the LMP2 cars. We're having the 87 on screen. Kinda. He was on top of the screen. We're following the 23 in third. The gap is now 3.5. So I think it's Barrichello behind the wheel of the 23. He is. And he is. Ooh. Never mind. The gap is now back to 3.3. So Lopez and are posting like this one and this one, please, are posting about the same lap times. And apparently Barrichello is being voted as everyone's driver of the day. So congratulations to him. I can't fully understand why people have done that. Actually, it's a muscle in the Forestry Racing by Pani. I read that wrong. Oh, maybe that's you can vote for the different categories. I don't know. As the Ferrari 83 is back in. thought they were done with their pit stops, but apparently they have to come in again. I think a long splash and dash this is. Thought it was going to be short, but it's a bit longer than expected. And now the 35 Alpine is probably going to pass the Ferrari. There he goes. So the Ferrari loses 2 places with that pit stop. They're now down in 7th. Oh gosh, the Toyota 7 is in traffic. This is the moment that it's getting very tense, that you do not want the cars in traffic too much. So we go back on board to Robin Fines, but he is now 10 seconds behind, so that gap is shrinking, but it's not quick enough. And now we have less than 10 minutes to go into the final race. Into the into this race. That's what I should say, not the final race. The hell. Here we have the 43 leading LMP2 car with some Dylan behind the wheel. Looks comfortably there. I really wonder what's going through people at this moment because everyone must be so nervous. Like, if I'm already a little bit nervous, imagine how the mechanics and everyone and all the drivers, they must be even more nervous than I am. So there she is, slowly finishing another lap. We will not make the distance record, but I wasn't expecting that to happen. We are on lap 379, and the distance record is on. Where are you? 397 laps. So we're not gonna make that. So I think we have about 2 laps remaining. and then we will reach the 381 laps, which is still a lot. I read somewhere that slowly, that when there are new regulations, it's very hard to make the distance record. But as time goes on, these laps grow longer, or like the distance grows longer and longer. So I'm sure in the near future we might see that distance record being smashed again, and maybe we will see that 400 lap mark also being smashed to pieces. Because no one has ever driven 400 laps on Le Mans. Because the distance record is 397 laps, and that's a distance of 5,410.7 km. That's long. That's very long. Going fully on the limit. Because I tell you, these cars are pretty much non-stop on the limit. Even if they're saving anything, it's still like on the limit. Like, you don't want to lose too much time, so you don't want to be too slow. So you don't want to be slow, but you don't want to be too fast because you're not saving enough. So even there, you have to find limits. I will take you to the list of retirements because they do need a honorable mention. Because we should not forget those that participated and not finished. We have the 30 Duquesne team. We have the 27 Aston Martin. We have the 69 BMW. We have the 50 Ferrari, the 15 BMW, the 17 Genesis. Genesis do have another car in the race, which is pretty good because that 19 had stopped twice on track. And then it was the 17 that actually had to retire. But Genesis still have a car in this race. And if they can bring that car home, I would be so happy for them. Then we have the 91 Porsche, the 77 Ford, the 38 Cadillac, the 97 Mercedes, the 54 Ferrari, the 61 Mercedes, and the where are you? 13. Here you are, the 13 Autosport, which was our first retirement from this race, sadly. So that's that. Now we can focus again on the gap between France and Kobayashi, which is still 10 seconds. As Kobayashi is crossing the finish line, he might need to do another lap. So he probably has to do two more. Because it's 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and one lap takes 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So he might miss the flag by 10 seconds, and then he probably has to do a new lap. Unless he's just gonna slow down a tiny bit. Which I would not blame him for. But then I'm sure he would have known that it was going to be the final lap, so he probably has to do one more. So we go on board with Robin France. But that gap is still 10 seconds, and that gap is not gonna close in 2 minutes. Then that looks all decent at the LMP2s. Those gaps are not gonna close. And Maria Lopez has closed the gap to the 23 to 1.8. So the battle for third in the GT3 cars is still pretty much on. Now I will keep an eye on that one because that is the only interesting thing that's still happening because these cars are just trying to bring the car home. With only 1 minute remaining, and Kobayashi is now in the Indianapolis curve. Going into Arnage. But I still think he has to do one more lap as they are so ready at Toyota to celebrate. Like the freeze tension on his face. Oh, that guy is the one block of nerves. 33 seconds left in this race. Kobayashi has to do another lap. And he's on the final lap of this race. In the meantime, Lopez has closed the gap to 1.5 seconds as the 32 Team WRT gets nicely out of the way of Kobayashi. And for Nick de Vries, this is possibly his first win in Le Mans. That's why he's looking so nervous. This would be like a uh, jewel on his pretty remarkable career, honestly. So the Toyota flags are being waved, but Kobayashi is still not there. He's going on the long straight. Maria Lopez is getting a warning flag for track limits. And the gap has gone back to 1.8. Striking distance within 8 laps. Sorry, live timing. We do not have 8 laps. We're on the final lap, just so you know. Stupid live timing. So Kobayashi is going through Arnage for the last time on its way to the Porsche curves this year, I will say. I heard some clapping. I don't know what that was for. I think for the F1 race, because somehow they decided Liberty Media decided, or the FIA decided, to host a F1 race on the same time as Le Mans, guys. That is so stupid. The Toyota 7 is going through the final four chicanes and it's gonna cross the finish line in first. There you go. The Toyota 7 wins. The BMW, it's gonna end in second. Tom Dillman has. Where is he? Well, the 343 has crossed the finish line. France has crossed the finish line in second. And Buemi has crossed the finish line in third. And I think BMW can be very, very happy with that. A podium place for them. Toyota 1 and 3. And they can also start celebrating their incredible win. Then in LMP2, we have the 43 with Dillman behind the wheel in first. We have the 343 in second. And we have a team radio.
Amazing. It's a team effort. It's a team effort. Wow. Come on, we were waiting a long time for this. Long time. Good job, man.
And as I was saying, we have the 29 in third in LMP2. In the LMGT3, we have the 33 Corvette winning in front of the 7-8 Lexus, and the 23 Aston Martin has crossed the finish line in third. While the celebrations are going on, I'm gonna say goodbye to you to just sit back and watch it for a second, and probably we have to switch to the F1 race because that one's still going on. So I'll thank you all for watching all my videos if you have done, for just staying with me for a few minutes if you have, and I will probably be back for one of the next WEC race because I really, really enjoyed this one. Thank you so much. Bye bye.